I got something cool to show you guys. Now, about a year ago at this point, I made a video doing the first major overhaul of my rally car. This is my 98 Metro, and what started as a boring white commuter vehicle turned into a full twin-charged rally car. Now, there's still a long way to go on this build, but I wanted to show you guys the progress thus far. So in the last episode of working on the Metro, you guys saw me take a very boring Metro and kind of overdo it. I painted it, and then I didn't like the results, and then I painted over a lot of the results, and then my wife said it wasn't good enough, and she was right. It wasn't my best work, and I know that I can do better, and she knows that I can do better. It's time to go full race car mode on the Metro, so let's get started with cutting a bunch of it up. I decided to remove the backs of these wheel wells because I noticed they were catching a lot of air, and then I fabricated custom bash bars both front and rear. I'm a big fan of center mount exhaust, but because this car is made to be jumping over things and smashing through the desert, I needed it to be really strong. So I decided to weld the exhaust piping to the rear bash bar. Now, this is a rally car. It's not like I'm in close proximity to other vehicles like a drift car, so I'm not too worried about damaging the exhaust, and if I do, it is what it is. I think this looks really cool how this came out with the center mount. Don't worry, you'll see more pictures of it at the end. We got other stuff to focus on. And then from there, it was time to paint it. So one thing I really liked about the original paint job that I did was the pink splatter on the side. One of the issues that I ran into was I was using thick airbrush paint for that pink splatter, and it turned orange in the sun, which I'm not a big orange guy. Turned orange in the sun. That's not the vibe I was going for. So I spent quite a bit of time finding the right pink paint that wouldn't oxidize with the sun. Figured that out. Now it's time to throw some drips on it. I love the way this splatter looks. It provides a really old school kind of mini truck tuner vibe to it. And I really wanted a very kind of Asian drift car, old school rally car type vibe with this paint job, a very kind of over the top paint job. You may notice that there's a huge spoiler on the back of the car now. My wife got me a beautiful spoiler for my birthday, something that I've always wanted a chassis mount wing, and I feel like this is something that the car was really missing, and it kind of brings it together quite a bit. So having a chassis mount wing, I'm so pumped on it. Thank you again. That was such a wonderful birthday present. I love this wing so much. So we have the drips on the car, and it looks super cool, but it's not enough. I really want this build to be super intense, and I'm going for a very Asian style, hardcore actual race car vibe to this. If you're unfamiliar, the Chinese rally scene is massive, and China has like some of the most hardcore rally races that exist. There's a funny movie that I would highly recommend you check out if you're into rally racing. It's a really good movie. It's called Pegasus. It's a Chinese movie about this down on his luck rally guy, and it's just really cool, and the whole rally scene in China is fantastic, and it's something that is so appealing to me. I love that vibe. So I wanted to try and make my own custom livery. If you're unfamiliar, a livery is the crazy sticker paint job that is on race cars, and it looks really intense and cool. You see it on a lot of FD cars and rally cars, or a good example you might know is like the Gymkhana cars and Ken Block and all that kind of stuff. The issue with liveries is A, they are extremely expensive. B, they are extremely difficult to put on. I want to do it myself. I want to try and undertake it myself. I've done everything else on this build, so let's try and figure out how to make our own custom livery. So I went into Photoshop and made a bunch of cool like tear graphics. So let's make this thing look cool. This took so much time to do. This took days to do. This was so much work. Every single sticker is hand placed on there and cut, you know, because like the way that I did the stickers, they're all flat on the edge, and I didn't want it to look like flames like that are all blocked on the edge. So every sticker has been hand cut with an X-Acto knife on the inside edge, and then the outside edge is cut with the Cricut, all the like sharp textures. And I am so happy with how this came out. This was so much work and so hard to do, and I'm so proud of it. So I drove it around like that for a few days, and I noticed that I lost a lot of back pressure with my new exhaust setup. I cut out all the cats and all the resonators and everything like that. It's a true straight pipe from the headers all the way back, and the car didn't like it that much. I lost a lot of pressure and it just felt a little sluggish. So how do you fix a little bit sluggish of a vehicle? You twin charge it. I had a turbo from a dune buggy I had a little while ago sitting in the garage. What a better time to slap it on there. It's an appropriate size for a 3-cylinder engine, so let's start building it. Unfortunately, with a Geo Metro and Suzuki Swift, you can't just go buy a turbo manifold. They don't sell them. You have to make it yourself. So, conveniently, I have a second Metro that exists on my property, so I pulled the headers off that Metro and started cutting. I mentioned twin charge. I mentioned two chargers. This is turboed and supercharged. Alongside not being able to buy a turbo manifold, not that I would anyways, I'd probably just always make my own, they don't really sell any cold air intake type setups. The way that these cars run is they have like a fuel injected carburetor type setup where there's a fuel injector that goes into a throttle body, but how it's set up is similar to an old school carburetor. It's a really weird way of doing things, and only one injector runs the entire engine. And all of that kind of is in the little throttle body area. And you can buy what's called a top hat for this carburetor injector setup thing. And it's made out of like cast aluminum or whatever, and it's okay, but I do engineering, so I feel like I could just make it myself. So what I decided to do was I made a twin charge port top hat. In layman's terms, it's a top hat that goes over this intake carburetor throttle body thing, and it has 2 holes on it. One hole goes to a supercharger, the other hole goes to the turbo. First start on the turbo was a success. My face is too close to it like that. That's all I'm doing. I'm gonna take a little dab of grease.
A little dab of do you?
Yeah, and put it on the top of my top hat. And then my top hat's gonna sit like this. And then now we know where to drill it. Oh, wow.
Is that how it's done then?
Yeah. But there's an issue here. The Metro is very, very small. And I, A, don't want to deal with belts. B, I hate doing mechanical things. Like, I like building cars, but I don't like working on engines. I don't enjoy it. I don't like fixing engines and working on engines. So I did way more work to avoid just putting a normal supercharger on this. I spent a few months engineering and 3D printing a completely custom electronic supercharger called the Bad Neighbor Supply Co. Thrash Charger. Bad Neighbor Supply Co. is my other company. And this is something that you'll be able to buy on my website, lightdesignsllc.com, very soon. It's called the Thrash Charger. It's really cool. I 3D printed out all my turbo components, and I also put little tiny slits inside the turbine itself to be able to make like a cool whistling noise. So one of the best things about having a supercharger is it makes like a little whistling noise. How it works is there's an electronic motor that is designed for an e-bike. It spins to a couple thousand RPM. The signal to control that comes from a sewing machine pedal that's drilled into my actual gas pedal. So as I modulate my normal throttle, I'm also modulating the current that goes from the sewing machine pedal to the turbo. Well, supercharger. I guess it's more of a blower because you're not using a belt. I don't know. Argue in the comments about what you want to call it. I call it the Thrash Charger. The Bad Neighbor Supply Co. Thrash Charger. Available very soon on my website, lightdesignsllc.com. I just gotta fix like a couple little things in the design and then we're good. Doing it this way has a lot of benefits. Like I said, I hate doing mechanical things. So I don't have to deal with oil lines. I don't have to deal with belts. I don't have to deal with anything. I just hook it up to a 12-volt source, drill in my pedal, wire it all together, and it just works. It just works. That's it. It just works. Which I love. I'm so proud of this. I'm so ridiculously proud of this, and I'm so excited for you guys to experience the Thrash Charger. I'm also working on a motorcycle version of this too that just attaches to your air intake, and then you're good. You just twist the throttle and you're good to go. It uses a slightly different switch. It uses like a throttle switch for an e-bike that also taps into your normal throttle on a motorcycle. There's a couple kinks I'm working out with that one. I'm gonna have a video up very soon of putting a Thrash Charger on my own personal motorcycle, and I think when that video comes out, everything should be ready and good to go to list these for sale. So there'll be a car version and a motorcycle version. Get excited. But this is the very first Thrash Charger. I painted it pink to work with the rest of the build, and it just works. It just works really good, and I'm really proud of it. Another idea. I have these handcuffs dangling from my spoiler. It just... oh my gosh. Yeah. There's your support.
Okay. That's awesome.
Since I've put the turbo in the front, I haven't put the front bumper back on because I just think it looks so cool having a turbo that's held up by handcuffs and on my custom bash bar. It looks so much cooler. Also, I didn't talk about this or film any of this, but I have new headlights, and I used the shroud from a 91 Metro. I used the shrouds off of that and got some cool like 6-inch bar lights that go inside, and then I just drilled it all together and then just made it work. It looks really cool. They're super bright. They are high beam all the time. Sorry everybody else on the road. Deal with it. There's still a ton of work that needs to be done on the Metro. The next focus I'm doing is working on the interior stuff. I have some racing seats, I have a beautiful racing wheel, and I'm going to be gutting the entire interior. I also am going to be making my own roof scoop to port in nice fresh air because it gets really hot in there because I live right outside of Death Valley. I'm also going to be addressing the wheel and tire situation. I keep blowing tires. I blow so many tires. I blow so many tires that it's so cost ineffective to keep running the same wheel and tire setup that I do, that it makes more sense to invest in like real rally wheels. I'm gonna be running the current engine that's in there until pretty much it blows up, and then the plan is to motorcycle swap the entire system. Maybe GSXR, Hayabusa, something along those lines. If I can find a crashed Hayabusa, that would be ideal, but it's probably easier to get my hands on a GSXR that's been crashed. We'll see how it goes. And my twin charge setup will work perfectly with a motorcycle, so it will work great. But we'll see, you never know. Metros are really reliable and really strong, so who knows? I might be an old man and be like, hey, any day now that engine's gonna blow and I'm gonna go get a Hayabusa or something. I don't know, dude. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can pick up one of these awesome Race Division shirts. It's got the logo on the front, and then it says Light Designs Racing Division in Chinese, and it says number 47. That's my race number. Well, technically the direct translation to Chinese is Light Designs Racing Department. Here's what the back looks like. I'm super proud of it. It says my name down the bottom, and then Light Designs Race Division up the top. And I'm so pumped on how this came out. I made this shirt, and if you'd like to help support the channel, definitely check that out. There's also beautiful mods on the website as well, if you haven't gotten one of my mods yet. I might be a little bit biased, but I think they're great, and I highly recommend you pick one up. Okay, so yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and share your thoughts and opinions with me about the build down in the comments below. Thanks. Bye. I'm on fire. Hey, our shirts on the website are not fireproof. These shirts are not made by Kirk Cameron in that weird Christian movie about a failing marriage. They're not fireproof. Yeah, whatever.
You're just gonna let that slide.